Welcome, friends of the true self. My name is Evelyn, and this is a form of satsang, a form of conversation about the true self. And because I am writing a commentary on the Yogasutra, I am offering also these commentaries on the Yogasutra. And all these ancient philosophies that come from the Vedas, they are oriented towards you realizing your true self, towards this ultimate goal for your soul, towards finding this dimension of yourself that is quiet, that is at peace, that is happy. And for a moment before we start again engaging the mind, I invite you to place your attention on awareness itself. What it means is to stay empty. You direct your attention towards what is aware. And so it is basically you witnessing thoughts, but not taking on any thought, not going into the mind stream, not going into what is suggested, but remaining alert, awake, being as the self. And if this is really difficult for you, what you can also do is stop the mind for an instant. To stop the mind helps you to get aware of the dimension of yourself that is not engaged in the mind. And that then can help you stay with what is empty for some time. And even if you're just touching on this, you're touching on consciousness, you're touching on your God self, you're opening yourself to your natural state. You're opening yourself to the vast essence of yourself. What all these ancient philosophies describe is basically to start relearning, to start discriminating between Purusha, consciousness, and Prakriti, matter. One, consciousness, being the nature of reality, but also your true nature. And the other one, matter, the person, the relative expression, your life, environment, appearances, being Prakriti, even the mind, being Prakriti, thoughts, thought forms, mind stream, being Prakriti. And so you're starting to discriminate these two, but not just as a mental form of doing, as a mental exercise, but actually starting to discriminate experientially between your self-being consciousness, the screen, the true self, the vastness, the emptiness, presence, stillness, and its expression. And yoga philosophy, so Sankhya philosophy, some of you might also know, makes this fundamental discrimination between Purusha and Prakriti. And yoga philosophy, or yoga as a path to self-realization, makes the same distinction. But there is one stepping stone in between that can help you additionally on your spiritual awakening journey, and that is Ishwara. And the sutra I'm talking about today talks about Ishvara, Ishvara being your divine self. And it says that your divine self is the seed of all knowledge. It is where knowing is found. It helps you, this connection, establishing this connection to your divine self, helps you get in touch with the part of yourself that knows. Every time you have an insight, every time you really know something, that knowing does not stem from the person. The person has a different form of knowledge. Our mental capacity offers a different form of knowledge, different form to discriminate, a different form to have an opinion, a different form to judge, to evaluate, to assign things that we are perceiving, but there's a different form of knowing. And that knowing is every time you have an insight, every time something really is attuned to or suddenly comes into your knowing, you suddenly know something. This knowing is perceived as if this knowing comes to you as the person from outside of yourself. It is something that is not connected to something you have perceived with your senses. It is knowing. So there is also there is also there's also difference between knowledge, mental, and knowing, pure knowing. That knowing comes from the divine self. And yoga has the stepping stone that you can address or come into contact with your true self, actually, by having a form of relationship to the divine self, to the seed of knowing, to start inquiring inside, to start knowing also that you have a source of wisdom inside of yourself, not outside of yourself, not only what you're hearing, not only what you're reading, not only what you're ingesting, not only what other people tell you, an inner authority, an inner knowing. And whenever you come into contact with your vasta essence, for example, by stopping the mind, or by you remaining empty, coming into contact with nothingness, meditating in that way, not taking on thoughts again and again and again and again, coming into contact with the vasta presence of yourself. Every time you actually strengthen that link, knowing increases, presence increases. Your knowing of yourself as awareness increases. Awareness comes to the forefront. And he says this divine self, this stepping stone for you as you feel limited, coming into contact with that divine self offers knowing about life, about whatever is happening right now for you, knowing about what is relevant for you to know in this moment. It can come as an insight. And so yoga has this beautiful stepping stone that is in between, that is allowing you to start establishing a connection to this vaster essence in a form of the divine self, in the form of your higher self, starting to have relationship and starting to also understand this part of yourself, this vaster essence, how it expresses itself is, it is awareness. You are awareness, fundamentally, eternally, essentially. When you really start looking, you are awareness. You can step yourself back to this recognition of yourself, but to see also this is the seed of knowing, pure knowing. It is spacious. It is the spacious awareness that is aware of what is happening, and also just this profound knowledge. Where does knowing reside? What in you is pure knowing? So pure in the end that it isn't anymore knowing mental contents, but simply knowing in the sense of being aware too, being awake, awakeness, awareness, wakefulness, presence, pure knowing. To contemplate what in you is knowing. Start to perceive that even insights come seemingly from outside of yourself, but actually not. They're all happening, all knowings, all insights, everything is arising within the space of your awareness. And in that sense, not outside of yourself. All arises within you. Namaste.